Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be reviewing the MiG-15bis ISH. This is a currently 8.0 BR Rank 5 premium fighter in the Russian Air Force's tech tree. This vehicle currently costs 8,560 Golden Eagles when not on sale and comes with 15 backups. With that said, in this video, I'll be going over everything that you need to know about this fighter, including its stats, how it plays, its strengths and weaknesses. I'll give it some scores in several key areas, and then I'll give my final recommendation and if I feel this vehicle is worth purchasing or not. With that said, if you like this kind of video, please consider subscribing, but without further ado, let's get into it. Now to start, I'll place the stat card here on the side of the screen. Important things to note are its overall performance, its armament, and its BR. Now, for how it plays. Basically, this is a MiG-15bis, but at a currently lower BR than the standard bis. This is due to the permanent pylons under the wings, which both the standard MiG-15 and MiG-15bis do not have. The pylons combine to make the ISH weigh a combined 120 kilograms extra over the standard MiG-15bis, and also provide a bit of drag, which is why the ISH is 8.0 BR, where again, the standard MiG-15bis is 8.3. The thing is that, even though this does decrease the thrust-to-weight ratio by a little bit, the ISH still has a 10% higher thrust-to-weight ratio than the standard MiG, while currently sitting at its same BR, which means that this is a much better MiG-15 in almost every way compared to the standard MiG-15, again at 8.0 BR. Plus, the ISH has a great CAS package that the other MiG-15s lack. In short, the ISH has better performance by a good margin compared to the MiG-15, though is still a touch worse than what the MiG-15bis has to offer, despite currently having identical stat cards. With that said, the ISH has superior performance compared to its peers, especially when in a down tier. This vehicle can typically fly higher, faster, all while being more agile than any other plane it will typically face at and below its BR. Because of this, you can fly the ISH in a dominant way, making use of this speed and maneuverability to slice and dice enemies, especially after intercepting any bombers that may be present on the enemy team. The only real downside of this vehicle, aside from its difficult to use armament, is that it has excellent performance but starts to compress beyond 950 kilometers per hour, which locks its controls and severely hampers its maneuverability. If you can manage to stay away from those speeds, with the exception of when you're pulling away from an enemy, the MiG-15bis ISH can be dominant. It can be played as a boom and zoomer in a down tier so long as you're mindful of your speeds, and can be a turning fighter in any sort of match, be it a down tier or an up tier, as its maneuverability should be superior to any enemy that it will fight. This is one of those rare aircraft that allows you to control the engagement almost every time that you're in one. Oh, and on base bombing. While you can use them, the largest bomb load on this aircraft is just two 500 kilogram bombs that will only destroy about 1/4 to 1/3 of a base's health in ARB. I personally would not bother using them in ARB. Now for CAS, the ISH is a fun and unique aircraft that is surprisingly effective. While it has a somewhat limited loadout, the ISH has the ability to carry up to 6 100 kilogram bombs, 4 250 kilogram bombs, or 2 500 kilogram bombs. It can also carry up to 48 rockets, or 8 S-10F rockets, of which can be accurately shot at enemies via a ballistics computer for again said rockets. The bombs do not have a ballistics computer, unfortunately. Regardless, when combined with the downward facing pylons, rockets are incredibly effective on this vehicle, possibly more so than any other fighter until you start getting into much higher BRs. This is because the downward angled rocket layout makes firing them safely surprisingly easily, especially when combined with its ballistics computer. Through these rockets and their unique layout, but also with the larger bomb types as well, the ISH is surprisingly effective in CAS, especially for a fighter, and doubly so for a fighter at this BR. Now with all that said, let's get into its strengths and weaknesses, and first for its strengths. The ISH features a ballistics computer for its rockets, which is very rare at this BR. Second, it has rockets that face at a downward angle, which when combined with the aforementioned ballistics computer means that you can fire rockets accurately without getting too dangerously close to the ground. Third, this vehicle has a great rate of climb and acceleration. Fourth, like most other MiGs, this vehicle has excellent turning performance. For its fit strength, it has extremely powerful cannons that can destroy both air and ground units with ease. Beyond this, for a fighter, the ISH can carry a fairly decent anti-ground payload, regardless of if you like rockets or bombs. Seventh, CAS loadouts tend to be fairly inexpensive in terms of spawn points. For its 8th strength, this vehicle features a G-suit, which the standard MiG-15 at its same BR lacks. And finally, the ISH has very good premium RP and SL modifiers, even when compared to other premium aircraft. Now for its weaknesses, when equipping bombs, they drop 2 at a time rather than fully sequentially, which especially sucks when using the larger bombs. Second, while the cannons are extremely powerful, they have a very limited ammunition supply. For its third weakness, like all other MiG-15s, this vehicle features major compression issues, with controls largely locking up near sea level beyond 950 km per hour. Fourth, this vehicle has a mediocre roll rate that is made much worse at high speeds. For its fifth weakness, the 23mm and 37mm cannons both have slow muzzle velocities, which will lead to difficult shots at longer ranges. Beyond this, the vehicle has somewhat ineffective air brakes, though it's not too terrible. For its seventh weakness, the tail is large and rudder control can make precise movements, especially when already performing a maneuver, difficult. Further, the tail is easy to hit and destroy compared to the rest of the plane. For its eighth weakness, while typically powerful, the cannons will sometimes barely do any damage at all to enemy aircraft. And finally, the bombs don't seem to have as much explosive filler as equivalent-sized Soviet bombs. For example, the ISH's OFAB 250 bombs have 97 kilograms of explosive filler equivalent, whereas the FAB 250 M44 bombs have 122.4 kilograms of explosive filler equivalent. The same is also true for having substandard explosive filler for the 500 kilogram and 100 kilogram bombs, again, that you could equip on the ISH. And now with all that said, let's get into how I score this vehicle. And first for air RB and dogfighting, I give the MiG-15bis ISH a 7.25 out of 10. Simply put, you're getting essentially MiG-15bis performance at a standard MiG-15BR. To me, that is incredible, as the ISH still has largely the same turning time, performance, and other associated traits. Unfortunately, the guns aren't as easy to use as a standard HMG or 20mm cannon armament, and thus can be tricky to land hits with, but they are still incredibly powerful. Once you get used to them, they can easily outperform the easier to use weapons of similar BR aircraft like Sabres and Meteors. This armament, along with the excellent performance of this aircraft, also makes the ISH a perfect vehicle to intercept bombers. Just be aware of your shortcomings like roll rate and compression, and the MiG-15bis ISH can easily be one of the most dominant fighters in every match that it plays. Now for close air support, I give it a 6.25 out of 10. Despite being a fighter in a period where fighters have middling anti-ground performance, the MiG-15bis ISH is surprisingly capable. It obviously is not a dedicated strike aircraft, but its loadout of largely effective bombs and rockets are very capable, especially the rockets with their downward-facing pylons and ballistics computer. The cannons can also perform well, especially versus unarmored vehicles and tank tracks. In all, the ISH is fairly effective in this role, despite the MiG-15 never being initially designed for it. Now overall, I give this vehicle a 6.75 out of 10. Perhaps I'm being a bit generous here, or perhaps not. But with its BR decrease from 8.3 to 8.0 BR, the MiG-15bis ISH feels like an absolute beast. Still, even at 8.3 BR, it was amazing, but this takes it to another level. Outside of up tiers, this vehicle can outperform and largely outshoot the planes in which it will typically fight. So long as you keep track of your current speed so as to not expose yourself to compression, the ISH will easily be a top-level fighter in pretty much every match that you'll play. Even in CAS, this vehicle is surprisingly effective, especially once you get used to its unique rocket aiming setup. Now with that said, do I recommend the MiG-15bis ISH? Well, yes and no. If it were ranked 6, I'd say this is a great purchase, but right now it's in kind of a weird spot. Sure, it's a great aircraft, has a very favorable BR, and can even perform surprisingly effective CAS, but it's a relatively expensive and somewhat high BR rank 5 aircraft. The Su-11, which is even better than the ISH relative to its BR, is less expensive and will grind through exactly the same amount of the tech tree as the MiG-15bis ISH. It's good, but not entirely worth the price of admission. Worse yet, you have the decent though very flawed Yak-38 and MiG-21S, all of which can be used to grind through rank 7. Heck, you even have the Su-7 BMK, which is a very good quick strike aircraft, especially for ground RB, and the Su-25K, which is my personal favorite vehicle in the entire game due to its immense capabilities versus both air and ground. By the way, I have reviews for all of those aforementioned planes if you want to see what I mean. Regardless, the MiG-15bis ISH is a great plane, but making a purchase case for it is difficult compared to the other vehicles on this list. If the Su-11 didn't exist or was merely pedestrian, I would say to buy the ISH. If the ISH was ranked 6, I'd say it's a good plane to purchase, but right now it has to compete with the Titan of rank 5 in the Su-11 for purchase, thus making the ISH ISH a secondary consideration for purchase. Again, this is by no means speaking ill about the ISH, as it brings essentially MiG-15bis performance all the way down to 8.0 BR, and adds a great CAS element to it as well. It's a fantastic plane, but it sits in the same rank and tech tree as one of the few planes more fantastic than it in the Su-11. So yes, I do recommend the MiG-15bis ISH for purchase, but pretty much only when it's on sale, especially if you like how MiG-15s play, and if you already own the Su-11. I also fully give it my Tankenstein seal of approval. Make no mistake, this is a fantastic plane in so many ways that it's somewhat of a shame that it costs as much as it does, while the amazing Su-11 costs less and is also the same rank. Whereas if you spend just a little bit more, you can get a good rank 6 premium that you can grind through much more of the tech tree with. So again, the MiG-15bis ISH rules. It's just in a little bit of a weird spot, unfortunately. But that being said, thanks so much for watching. If you don't mind, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let me know what you think about the MiG-15bis ISH in the comments below. But either way, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.